Media and Promotions. Today we have a local yet international traveler named Ms. Jackie Ferris. How are you doing, Jackie?
I'm doing just fine,
I would appreciate you coming in today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, today we wanted to talk to you about, well, first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in New Mexico and went to college, became a journalist, and worked in New Mexico, Texas, Arizona, and finally came here to the Lehigh Valley to WF.
Oh, okay, so New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Oh, okay, I would have never guessed. So you were born there, or?
Actually, I was born in Frankfurt, Germany. I was an Air Force brat. And we settled after touring around with my family in New Mexico, in Roswell.
Oh, okay, Roswell. Okay, yeah. Where the UFOs are. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how did you make that transition from Mexico up here to the Lehigh Valley?
It was the job. WFMZ had an opening, and I had never been to this side of the country, and I thought, well, it's an adventure, and I'll take a risk, so here I am.
How long have you been here so far?
I've been here 8 years.
8 years?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know you're known for a lot of your in-depth reports on Channel 69, WFMZ. How would you say your experience has been through those 8 years? You've had a lot of different reports you've done, I'm sure, from a family point of view, different events. What would you say you've been your experience?
It's been a really good experience because there's so many stories to tell in the Lehigh Valley. I know we're in the middle of starting on a new documentary project, and that's kind of been where I've been excited, the things I've been excited to do. We did a documentary on the Rhodes Opera House fire, a bit of local history. We did a documentary on gambling in the valley whenever spots came to the Lehigh Valley. So it's been a tremendous experience, and there are a lot of stories to tell here.
Now, I know that you just returned from Haiti, okay, and we all know about the atrocities that are going on over there due to the earthquake. You were there for 5 days?
5 days.
Okay. Now, when you first went there, what was your experience as far as when the airplane landed? What did it look like? What was the?
Well, when we first landed, it was in the Dominican Republic, and I thought that it was a beautiful, lush, very colorful in the buildings and the architecture country. And we traveled by car to Haiti, and we went to first Love a Child Ministry, which was in Font-Parisien, about 45 minutes outside of Port-au-Prince. The mission itself was really beautiful. It was surrounded by mountains and beautiful, bougainvilleas. I mean, it was really beautiful. But when we came in, we started to see, a lot of the victims from the earthquake that had arrived at the clinic, and it was heartbreaking to see their injuries and to hear their stories. And we did go into Port-au-Prince later in the week, and I'm on Facebook, and the only thing that I could update was OMG. I mean, there's nothing that you see on television that will ever prepare you for what Port-au-Prince looks like. Basically, the majority of the city just kind of collapsed in on itself. And when we got there, a lot of the bodies had been removed. You would walk through just huge piles of rubble, and you would see blood on cinder blocks, and you would see family members, 90 people living in a 20 by 30 tent and hungry, and it's heartbreaking.
Now, when you saw the relief efforts, what was that like? When was it a massive amount, or because you were just getting there, you were literally like on the ground days after the event. So, what was the relief like when you got there?
Well, we had heard that the relief was getting in slowly, and that people were frustrated. But whenever we actually made it into Port-au-Prince, we saw several distribution centers. We saw people coming out with big boxes of food and everything. And there had been some concerns about tension with the U.S. And these people came out of the distribution center, and they knocked on our door, and they said, USA, USA. So that was really good. And we saw a really big UN presence. So I think by the time we got there, the aid was really starting to make it to the people.
All right. You were there for 5 days. Now, I'm sure there were other correspondents there while you were there.
Yes.
I was reading in Time magazine, they were stating that there sometimes is a conflict of interest, because you as a reporter, as well as other reporters, you're there, you're reporting, you're seeing all this, but it takes an effort for you not to get involved in a story. What did you find when you between when you were in correspondence? Could you not help but just jump in and help? I mean, what was it like for you?
Well, there definitely is supposed to be a line between the reporter and the subject, but in this case, the line is removed. There's no way that you can go to a country like that and see people suffering. I'll give you an example. Wednesday that I was there, I was asleep on the floor of the clinic in a sleeping bag, and about 6 o'clock, and all of a sudden I started to hear this, and I was, my head was kind of bouncing, and I started hearing this screaming, and everyone saying, "Get out of the building, get out of the building." So we run out, and across from our building was the clinic, and the people who, serious injuries, just hobbling out, trying to get out of the building. They're afraid because they've been through so much. We had to help them. I put our shoes on, we went over, we got the people, we moved them under some trees, and then we had to move the clinic outside as well, so that line just disappears.
Wow, that's just, I guess that's due to the line of, just humanity. You know what I'm saying? Just being human.
Yeah.
You can't help but just that. You can't stand back and just look without, knowing that in your mind it's just being human to go out there and help someone out. One thing I wanted to find out also, I know that you're working on a documentary, and I know it's going to probably be awesome. So, yeah, that's going to be awesome. When, from the human aspect, because there's so many people reporting on Haiti right now. I mean, they've had numerous reports on the press, on the internet, everywhere. Are you going to try to get, I guess, maybe the human aspect? Or, because I know everyone's trying to put a face, but it's just so broad. What would you say is the most important thing?
Well, the most important thing is the people's story, because people want to see not only the stories of the people of Haiti, but the reason we went was because a local church, Life Church, was, they have an orphanage in Port-au-Prince, and they basically wanted to rescue their orphans from the building that they were in because it had been terribly damaged. And when they were going on that rescue mission, they took several doctors, 3 doctors from the area with them. And so basically the documentary will be, how the Lehigh Valley reaches out to Haiti. And the people, I have to tell you, they're some of the greatest people I've ever met, who just gave selflessly of themselves to try to make a difference across the world.
Awesome. So that's Lehigh Valley literally becoming international.
Exactly.
Okay, that's an awesome thing. Awesome thing. Well, you know what? I really appreciate it, Ms. Ferris, coming through. Thank you for your time and everything. And again, this is Alfonso Todd with Prolifick Styles, being produced by Blurb Media and Promotion. Until next week, you be good, and we'll talk to you soon.